What is up, my Necomers? It is your boy T Macaroni, and I am here with another deck profile. Man, I've been churning these out. Anyways, the next leader we're going to be taking a look at is the OP07 Jewelry Bonney. So Jewelry Bonney finally gets her leader card for being just a regular card for set one. Um, so, anyways, we're going to take a look at her deck and see what we can come up with. But this is going to be your cookie cutter list for probably what you're going to see with a little bit of tweaks. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into it. But as always, if you guys like what I'm doing here, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. It means a lot over here. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers by the end of July. So that's the goal. That's what we're going to do. But need your guys' help. Anyways, let's get into it. So Jewelry Bonney is a 5-life green leader with 5k power, and then when your opponent attacks on any attack, once per turn, you may pay 1 to rest up to one of your opponent's leaders and or characters. A pretty strong effect, being able to straw sort anything on your opponent's board unconditionally. A very good control tool. Slows your opponent's tempo down, especially if they only have 2 or maybe even 3 bodies. Just being able to do that is very strong. So let's see what support tools we're going to use. Bonney is in the Supernova type, so a lot of synergies with the Supernova, so I leaned towards something like that, what you're going to see most deck lists lean towards. And it wouldn't be a Bonney deck if we weren't playing the girl herself. So pay 1, activate main. You may rest this card and look at the top 5 cards of your deck and reveal up to 1 Supernova type character and add it to hand, and then place the rest of in any order. The Jewelry Bonney can search herself or any of the Supernova pirates that we are running. Is overall a very good searcher for the deck. So another Supernova, we're running both copies of the old Scratch Manipu and the new one. The new one is a 2k counter as well, and then on play you get to rest one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less. Probably never going to use that effect, but it is in here just to be a 2k counter, similar to this Scratch Manipu as well. When attacking, you press up to one of your opponent's non cards. This will actually come up in the mirror, just being able to rest. Let's say your opponent plays like Zoro and leaving 1 Dawn up. You can use the Scratch Manipu to swing, rest that 1 Dawn so they can't use their leader effect, because your when attacking would go off first before they can use their leader. So this is just also good as a 2k counter as well. Another card that we are running is the 2 cost Don Quixote Rosinante, just able to be a blocker, and if on your opponent's turn, if one of your rested characters would be KO'd, you can trash this character instead, so it gives protection to our rested characters, and you're going to see how that comes into play in a little bit with a neat little combo. So it wouldn't be a green deck if we weren't running Izo as a 2k counter. It's still probably one of the best 2k counters, not only being able to on-play rest a 4 cost, it is a 2k counter, and sometimes in a pinch, if you play that, you can attach 2 Dawn and swing in for 5k. So a new card that we got from OP07 is the Urge. Finally, he has a decent card, 4 cost 5k, and it has blocker, and at the end of your turn, you can set up to one of your Dawn card as active. So we can see how that synergizes with the leader. You can play this down and then get 1 back, so you can use the leader effect to potentially swing into something. And speaking about big swings, wouldn't be a Supernova deck without talking about probably one of the best Supernovas from the olden times, his Basil Hawkins. So if you guys and your new players, and some of you guys don't know what this card does, it is a 5 cost 6k, and with Dawn 1 attached, on your turn, once per turn, if this character battles your opponent's character, you can set it to active. You can swing into something, restand, swing into life at 7k, which is pretty solid. Good tool for removal. So the EB01 Powerhouse in Cavendish, one of my favorite cards in EB01. It is 5 cost 6k on play, and when attacking, if your leader has a Supernova type and you have no other Cavendish on the field, you can restand 2 Dawn. That last line is very key. Make sure you don't double play Cavendish, because I've actually lost because of that. But yes, as long as you have 1 Cavendish on the field, you basically get to restand 2 Dawn, which synergizes really well with your leader effect. And because we're going to be doing all this resting, we can use X-Drake. So on play, you get to KO one of your opponent's rested characters with a cost of 4 or less. Being able to tap a body especially against Red Purple Law. Just being able to KO whatever you play is just pretty solid. Self-explanatory. Plus, it's a 5-cost 6K, which is just overall a really good swing. A new card from OP07 is Basil Hawkins. If your leader has Supernova in its type, this character gains a blocker. So because Bonney does, we will have a 6-cost 7K blocker. And once per turn, if this character were to be removed from play by one of your opponent's effects, you may instead rest one of your opponent's characters. So just being able to rest any of your opponent's characters, if this were to be KO'd. So against like someone who's like playing maybe Purple Luffy, dropping a 9-cost Kaido, they look to KO this. You're like, we're gonna rest that Kaido instead, and then get value there. Or I'm gonna rest one of your other characters, and stop that from being KO'd, which is pretty good as well. It's overall a really strong card. Wouldn't be playing a green deck if we weren't slamming down Hody Jones and taking our own life. You guys should know what this card does by now already, but it's a 7-cost AK. It has Rush, and a non-play you can rest up to 2 of your opponent's characters and or dons, and then put the top card of your life into your hand. This is pretty solid just overall because you can not only in the mirror match, you can rest one of their dons and one of their blockers. You can now have a 7-cost AK swinging into their life. Try to push for game. Great card. And here we are. Probably the best card ever printed in green. OP01 51 SR Eustace Captain Kid. So this guy, if you guys don't know what this card does, I don't know what to tell you, man. I think you're not playing One Piece because this card is strong. So let's take a look at it. It's an 8-cost AK with Dawn 1. Opponent's turn. If this character is rested, your opponent cannot attack anything other than characters named Eustace Captain Kid. So it can only attack this character here. And then activate main. You may rest this character to play 1 card with a cost of 3 or less from your hand. So not only are you forced to swing into this character when it has Dawn attached, it is a 9K swinger, by the way, but you can play a 3-cost body. And as I mentioned earlier, we would be seeing a combo here, and the combo is essentially you have your Eustace Captain Kid, you attach 1 Dawn, you play the Don Quixote Rosinante. So if they try to get rid of it with your Eustace Captain Kid with an effect, you can KO the Rosinante to stop the Eustace Captain Kid from being KO'd, which is pretty good. Plus it's a blocker as well, so you can just block if someone tries to swing into it. And because you're running all these blockers in the deck, there are so many ways to stop the Eustace Captain Kid from dying. And that's way you're basically taking extra turns from your opponent because they have to try to get rid of this body while you have a 9K swinger and are dumping multiple bodies on the board at any given time. Super strong card. Games are decided by this card, and seeing multiples of this card. Only running at 3 just because we don't want to brick on it, but overall it's still a very solid card. Definitely worth a slot in this deck as well. And another one of our late game finishers is the Roronosaurus from the OP06. It is the secret from that set. It's a 9-cost 9K with no counter value, but when attacking, you may pay 1, you can set it as active, and then activate main. You can pay 2 to set it active again. So for 3 Dawn, you get to do 3 9K swings, but usually you're never doing that. Usually you're putting 6 cards, 6 Dawn onto this, or 7 Dawn onto this, sorry, and you're swinging 16K 3 times. Very good for closing out the late game, especially against NL. That's going to be a popular deck as well in this format. So very solid card, and they have a very hard time removing it. So I mean, a 16K triple swinger is pretty solid. And just to round out the deck, because we do need a little bit of defensive tools because of all the non-combos we have in hand, we play Whoever Wins This War Becomes Justice. You can pitch 1 card to gain 3K. Just a solid 0 cost, and you need the protection sometimes if you have all these non-counters on the top end side. But guys, that is it for the deck. This is Jewelry Bonney. Very solid deck. It's going to be a very good control deck, and I'm looking forward to seeing all the crafts and brews that you guys come up with this. But this is my list, and the cookie cutter that I think you can use as a base and go from there and tweak to your preferences. But anyways, guys, that is it. thank you guys as always for watching. Make sure you guys check out the other videos that I have put out for the OP07 metagame. But that is it for enough for my rambling. Take care, take easy, stay safe, peace, and I'll see you guys in the next one.